So it took about 15 or 20 minutes or so for it to shut down, but it did shut down eventually with a 6-blink code. And there's a reason why it took so long to shut down. Some TVs, of course, won't even start up. Well, they'll start up, but you don't get a picture. Some of them will go instantly into a 6-blink code, or a shutdown mode, I should say. But this one took some time. This is the model that we're looking at. It's a nice Sony TV. It is one of their basic TVs from, I would imagine, 4 or 5 years ago now. It's not a smart TV, but let's take it to bits and have a look what's in there, shall we? Obviously, you've seen me take many TVs to bits, so we don't need to video that part of it. And here we can see with a wobbly cam a closer look at the backlights with the sheets off. I've never seen this array of backlights before. I'm guessing there's some sort of Chinese setup, Chinese design. Looks a bit different, but looks quite nice. A lot of plastic in this TV. A lot of plastic in all TVs. I was just pointing at one there which looks a little darker than the others, but I have seen this TV before. This TV did come in about a month ago, and that's the one that I replaced. And it lasted only just a couple of weeks, so we've recommended to the customer that this time they replace them all. Customer said, good idea. Should have said good idea first time, but there you go. So we've got a whole new set to put in. But first I just want to test and find out where the other backlight has failed. So we'll just go through them. One set at a time. Bottom right seems to be fine. And bottom left is fine. The one that I put in is still lighting up, so that's still good. So it must be another one that's dropped somewhere. And the thing is with these backlights, the truth is, when they start to fail, they start to fail. There's only a certain brand that I would recommend then replacing one at a time, and this is the brand, Sony, but this came back to bite me, so we'll stick a new set in, but as of yet, they're all lighting up. So if they're all lighting up, I'm just going to check for the current that it's pulling. And I would expect these to pull about 15 volts. But actually, so far they're all pulling about 16.3, which is slightly high. So I think that could be the problem. They've just got tired and they're pulling in an extra current. Again, 16.3, going up, 16.4, 16... Sorry, I can't show the meter. The meter's on my top shelf. We all like a top shelf. Yeah, again, 16.3, 16.4. So if they're all pulling a bit high... Oh, this one's even higher. That one's gone up to 18. They're all higher than I thought they should be, but that one in particular. So sometimes they don't necessarily short out or fuse out or fail. Within time they just start to draw an extra current, and then the power supply unit will go into the shutdown mode, as we've seen. And that's probably why it's taking some time. This is the one here. That one is taking... Just then it went up to almost 18.9. So you have to watch that. You can test these backlights and think, well, they're all working, so that can't be the problem. It must be a power supply unit. But as well as checking the voltage, it's also well worth checking the current drain on them. Only pausing, of course, just to drink this, and it's a nice cup of coffee. Thank you. So we have the correct backlights in, and we'll replace them all, and hopefully that will sort the situation. Well, I say hopefully, it's got to sort out the situation. Can't really see it being anything else, and 6 blinks on a Sony with their modern sets, and I still class this as a modern set. 3 or 4 years old. Actually, I can't remember seeing the... I had a look on Google earlier, didn't I? I didn't see a date. It may have been 2014. So this set could be 6 years old, possibly. If that's the case, then the backlights have had a good innings, as they say. So I'm just going to double check that these are the ones. They are. This should be pretty straightforward. Just one out, one in. So they're labelled A and B. A for the left-hand side, B for the right-hand side. The one thing to notice is the B's are actually upside down. It's just the way they do it. This is the B. It has to go in upside down. So it goes in upside down. And there's just some little clips and holes for it to be supported. Don't really... So I was just about to say, I don't really work on that many Sonys. The backlights tend to last quite well. And if this has lasted for 5 or 6 years, then you can understand why some people just decide, I'll throw the TV away. But then again, some people like a particular TV once they've got used to it, once they know the functions of it, they know which buttons do what, they're very happy with it, they'd prefer to keep it. And 9 times out of 10 with these modern sets, it's always the backlights that's the problem, so there's no reason why this TV shouldn't go on and last a few more years yet. Well, we'll get another 5 or 6 years out of it before we have mainboard problems. Power supply is not an issue because it's got an external power supply, one of those 19.5 DC Sony bricks, which you can pick up anywhere. And I would have thought the main boards are available for this pretty easily too. So this is a TV with just a bit of service and maintenance, a bit of love and understanding. Should continue for quite some time. So just a top set to do. A going in the left here. And then the final one. Now, the only issue with this kind of design is to get to the backlights on this set, you have to take the whole TV to bits, which you have to do on many models, but some models you can still have the power supply and the main board attached to the panel. Some you can't, and this is one that you can't. As I said, the external power supply helps, but you do have to take the main board off to get to the brackets to remove everything else. So I'm just going through with the meter and testing them, and the voltage draw is much less on this. I'm getting 14.5 on these, 14.3, 14.4. So the others were drawing considerably more, or up to 3 or 4 volts per strip on some. So the tolerance on the LED driver was pretty good. It's not going to fail with just 2 or 3 volts either way out. I would have estimated that we're looking at probably an excess of 10 volts, probably even more, that the LED driver would have been drawing. So after a time, it would have just said, can't handle it anymore, and we'll have to shut down. When I say it would have said that, of course, I do obviously realise that LED drivers don't talk. I talk to them. They don't. When they start talking back, it's when I start to get very worried. So just going to stick these clips in. I like these clips. These are a good design. Little white clips. I don't know if this is a Sony thing. I've never seen these before. But they're sturdy. You know, sometimes clips become a bit brittle after time and with the heat that's generated to them. But these are absolutely fine. They go in very quickly. I like these. When I say I like them, once again, I wouldn't necessarily want to take them out for a drink. I mean, I like them as in the design and the durability. That doesn't mean I want you to buy me some for Christmas. So even though I've tested the backlights individually and they all work, the proof is in the pudding, as they sometimes say, and I'm going to have to wait until the whole of the TV is back together again to see if they work. No reason why they wouldn't work, but if there's some connection which is loose, it means one would have to strip the whole darn TV again just to come and check it out. Even though I could put my LED driver just on the positive and negative to check that they're all going to light up. But I'm pretty confident. Personally, I think it is worth repairing this TV because A, it's a Sony. It doesn't matter that it's not a smart set. In fact, a lot of people with smart sets are now starting to moan because apps are disappearing from them left, right and centre. So sometimes it's better to have a non-smart set and plug in a little Wi-Fi dongle. Anyway, so we've put it back together again. I'm going to plug that little portable Blu-ray player in to see if the backlights come on and everything's fine. This is one of those Sony sets that won't do anything without a remote control, so if you lose the remote control, you're a bit stuffed. So just putting the remote on, and there you go, backlights are on, and everything is looking good. Oh, and backlights are off. Oh, I just realised what I've done. So give me a moment. Luckily I don't have to strip the whole TV down to nothing. I haven't plugged the screen connector in. So the backlights came on, but of course we didn't get a picture, so I've just connected it all back up again. There we are, we see the Sony sign. Just connecting this portable Blu-ray player into it and making sure the sound is there, and I shall leave it on test for a good few hours to make sure that it doesn't switch off, but I've got every confidence that this is going to be okay. Obviously I will edit this video down, but just looking at the clock at the moment, it's taken just over an hour to do this. But it's a Sunday night and I'm in no rush. I'm just testing that I've connected the speakers back up. It's one of those things that I always tend to forget to do. I don't know why. At least I've put the speakers back in on this occasion. So I'm just going to stand it up and leave it on test. Stick a couple of Blu-rays in, a couple of DVDs, and let it run for the rest of the night. And I'm sure it's going to be fine. Put the stand back on and it will go back to its owner. This is a customer's one, which is why, again, we recommend putting a whole set of backlights in. In saying that, on a Sony, sometimes you can get away with just repairing the odd one. So I'm just going to get the wobbly cam just to show you that it's all behaving itself. And I'm going to check the settings, make sure the backlight settings are not on full, not on dynamic, or whatever Sony calls theirs. Don't know what they call theirs. No, the backlights are on 50%, so quite happy with that. As I say, I'm just going to test it for a few hours and make sure that it stays on, and then it'll go back to the customer tomorrow. It's just nice to keep another one out of landfill and just to keep it working, so thank you very much for watching.